Hey everybody, welcome to Business and Brews Unicorn Edition. Today we're coming to you from a Media's office because while typically we do coffee shops, breweries, we felt this was important to do in our office because this is a former office of Therapy Brands who recently sold to KKR for $1.2 billion. Today we're excited to have Shegun here with us. Shegun, excited about talking to you. Let's get going. With the big news that came out earlier this year about Therapy Brands, what a great feather in Birmingham's cap and obviously in yours. So $1.2 billion exit. Talk to us a little bit about how you started Therapy Brands and what led you to getting that company kicked off.
Therapy started because I saw a need here. I had a software consulting business where we wrote software for small and mid-sized businesses. And the local agency here had asked me to help them write what essentially was an EHR software. But that led to the discovery and the journey that became Therapist. And we were very fortunate, lucky and blessed, and it became something pretty significant in a very short period of time, led to Therapy Brands, and obviously has led to so many wonderful things here in the community, in my own personal life, and the lives of a lot of people that have joined me in this journey. So I'm very thankful. But that's how it all started, just meeting a need.
Right.
That's it.
What I find really interesting about successful companies, when you talk to people, and you mentioned a bunch of them right then, right? A lot of success comes from people, product, opportunity, timing, culture. Is there any one thing that you felt like out of all those that really helped separate you guys?
If you miss timing, then it doesn't really matter what else you do. And there were many ideas I had that the timing was wrong and nothing came out of it. So the timing part is the element of the good fortune and luck part in life that we all kind of need.
Right.
That break. So I think that was one. The other thing, and this is related to timing too, was just the general atmosphere and society's attitude towards mental health was beginning to change around 8 years ago when we started. The stigma was gradually fading, and people began to realize that mental health was just as important as physical health. The law was changing so that the government was requiring insurance companies to put mental health on par with non-mental health from an insurance coverage standpoint. So those were the tailwinds that we couldn't control, but kind of propelled us forward. What I tell my own friends and children and everything is two things really matter a lot: the people in your life and the places you find yourself, and you have to be very thoughtful about those two things and be very deliberate around the actions you take as it relates to those two things, because they end up making you. So
Right. That's awesome.
I have 4 children now, and I think I can count the doctor's visits I've missed across all 4, probably on one hand. School events, the same thing. So I think over those 8 years, those things were always prioritized for everything else. There would be 1 or 2 exceptions here, which is the few times that would have happened. So that's just the choice I made. It's the choice the team knew I was making.
I'll tell you what's so great about that. Like, thank you for sharing that, because I feel like so many people think like startup hustle and I gotta go, and I gotta work 80 hours a week, and you know what, I'm just gonna cast all that stuff aside. And I think it's so important to sit down and look at priorities and understand what your top priorities are, and that your family is gonna be there whether Therapy Brand sold for 1.2 billion or not, right? And you're like, I wanna make sure that this is my number one priority. And I just think that it's such a good message, I think, for people to hear that are listening to this, because there's a lot of people, especially early on in the grind, that just feel like, no, I just got to throw myself into this. And what it tells me coming from somebody who's been really successful, it tells me that it's quality over quantity, right? I can get a lot done in this amount of time, and then I'm going to go do this. I'm going to check out. I'm going to go do this and spend time with my family, with what matters, and then it's going to make me perform better here versus just going at this level all the time and burning out.
It is not easy. As you know, building a startup is totally all-consuming.
Right.
And it is very all-consuming mentally. But you kind of have to force yourself to do it. And there will be the 80-hour weeks, right? You just can't make that the default at the expense of everything else.
Right. All right, that's a wrap for Business and Brews Unicorn Edition. I think what you got today is you found a lot of stuff. It is obvious that Shegun knows what he's talking about, and I hope that you guys got a lot of good nuggets out of this. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.